Hi, I'm Marie Hopkinson and I'm the creator of the incense range, 5-element incense. And today I want to talk to you about a special incense that we've made just for Gnostic Forrest, and this is called Gnostic Blend. And I'm going to show you about the incense and just talk to you about this one. And so I encourage you to go to their store and have a look at this incense because it is a really beautiful smell. This is one that I developed with the owner of the store, based on Marie, who owns the store's preferences and what she liked. So we had already used some of these incenses, and you can buy these different incenses in the Gnostic store. One of the incenses that was most appealing to her was the mindful one, and this has got star anise, frankincense, myrrh, ginger, orange, and cinnamon. So you might not be familiar with this kind of incense, so let me just explain to you what that is very quickly. So traditionally an incense comes in a stick. Now what that means is all the herbs or the bits and pieces that are used to make the incense are basically crushed up or ground together and rolled into a stick and then dried in the sun, or maybe baked in a certain way. And sometimes they're pushed around an actual stick, a little tiny piece of stick of wood, and you'll have a stick that kind of comes out the end of the incense as well. That's all well and good, but we don't know exactly what is in this incense unless you make it yourself. Now, there's some really reputable incense makers. I know some in Australia that make beautiful incense, and you can sort of know that they make it and you know what they put in there. But typically when you buy the cheaper incense, especially if it smells very perfumey, like heady, and I mean it just smells like a cheap perfume because often they have used perfume oils in there. But the other thing is how to make this how to get this to stick together as a stick. Sometimes glue's used. Glue shouldn't be used. You shouldn't be sniffing glue, smelling glue, burning glue. And so if you're not sure what's in your incense, then be careful about what you're burning and what you're lighting up, because you're inhaling those smells, and it's a lot more toxic than just if there was glue in this. For me to sort of smell like this, hardly any glue is going to be inhaled. But if I start burning this and the smoke is there and I'm going to inhale those fumes, that's a different story. So what I've done with this incense that we make is we actually use the herbs. So you can probably see behind me some of these different herbs. We get the plant products, we grind them into a powder, and then we mix that powder with essential oils. Now that's another thing that sometimes, so you can see behind me there's some bottles of different oils here. This is actually a fragrance oil, and then there's different things that are essential oils here in different spots. Now the difference between like a fragrance oil and an essential oil is that a fragrance oil is a perfume oil. It's a chemical, well, everything's a chemical, so technically, but it's a synthetic blend to mimic the substance that you would get, whereas essential oil comes from the actual plant or the substance that you're trying to extract it from. Usually they're plants or resins or things like that. So with our incense, what we use is products that can easily combust, which means then you can ignite them. So that's simply how an incense combusts, how it lights up, is because products like juniper is a very highly combustible oil. So if you buy it as a essential oil, you have to be careful that it's highly flammable. It means it can more easily catch on fire than something that's less flammable. And so juniper berries, the actual berries, I sometimes use those ground down, but in some of our things we use essential oil. So that'll tell you on the ingredients on the packet what is actually in there. So for instance, in this mindful one, it's star anise, frankincense, and myrrh. So frankincense and myrrh are resins. We have some here somewhere. And a resin, this is just a little sample one, just kind of looks like, put some out in there. It's really smelling so strong straight away. So if you have a look at that, a resin actually has a stickiness to it. So once this is ground down, now I could actually ignite this, I could light this up, and there is a longer video on the YouTube channel about this stuff. So if you're interested in those kinds of things, then watch the longer video about how we actually make it and what goes into it and all that sort of stuff. So basically we're using resins. Frankincense is a resin as well, myrrh is a resin. Those things are ground down, and that adds to the different fragrances that you're going to smell, the different smells that come out of the incense. And then essential oils are mixed in together with the plant products. So we don't add artificial ingredients. It's all plant-based products that are in these fragrant earth incenses. So there's two ways you can burn them. One is what I've got going here. So I can tip that up. Now you can see that this just looks like all dust in there. Now you don't need very much. The good thing with these things is if you put it in an oil burner, you can put a tiny bit in to your liking, let that smell go out, as in let it go out into the environment, and as you smell it, if it's not strong enough, you can always add more. When you burn it in the oil burner, you can just keep turning it over a little bit like this. It's not too hot in the top of that burner, and that will like refresh the smell, and you can probably use it 2 or 3 times. The third time it's not going to have a lot of smell. You may add, sometimes I just add a little bit more to it, but this is actually the second time I've burnt this with a 4-hour tea light. Whereas if you combust it, if you push it together, so I'm going to show you this Gnostic Blend now that we've made. So if I just get a little bit of this out, you can see that one there in that little container. And then what I want to do is push it together with my fingers a little bit, so you can see that it's a bit tight there. Now, people like touching the earth. I mean, it's nature. We like sort of doing that, and so it's good to be able to do that. And then you can just light that up, and you'll see what I mean by combustible, because that will be on fire. And then you just blow it out, or let it blow out by itself, and then you'll see that the smoke starts to come out. So that's one way of doing it, is to make an incense like that, where you have the smoke, or you can put it into the oil burner and burn it like that. So either way is fine. Probably the oil burner way is even a bit more environmentally friendly, because you can get several uses out of it. Sometimes what I do is I'll burn a little bit by smoking, lighting it up, and then just push it out like I have done there, and let the rest of it just go through with the oil burner. I don't want to let too much smoke go out, otherwise I might not be able to see you. You might not be able to see me for the video. So let's talk about the Gnostic Blend today, because that's what I wanted to show you, and just talk about what's in here. And so this has got the juniper berries that I talked about, and the cinnamon and myrrh. So actually this is going to be a great blend for Christmas. It's going to smell really crisp. If you were to think of a Christmassy smell, well, people know frankincense and myrrh, because those are the gifts that Jesus gave to the wise men gave to Jesus. So they're kind of associated with Christmas, but actually if you do Christmas in the USA, they love cinnamon and orange smells. Like, they just love that. They make these cinnamon balms, body butter, and things like that, cinnamony kind of smells. And that kind of pumpkin spice kind of smell. So this has got the orange, cinnamon, and rosemary. Now, like this is just a unique blend that we just make for Gnostic Forrest. So you'll have to buy it from there. We don't even sell this on our website, so you'll have to contact Gnostic Forrest, which are in Woy Woy. And if you haven't been to Woy Woy, it's a beautiful town in New South Wales, and they may sell it on their website as well. So it's got orange, cinnamon, and rosemary. So those smells are actually very uplifting. Rosemary is associated with like when you've had depression or you're sad. It was often used in funerals, partly because rosemary is easy to like cut a piece off and you can stick it on you. In the olden days when people didn't have deodorant, they'd often use certain herbs as a bouquet of herbs around them, like a posy, to stop the BO smell. And rosemary is associated with like that grief, and like not just grief, but dealing with that, and that newness that comes from something's finished and something starting. So rosemary has like a bit of an uplifting smell in the midst of that sadness, I guess, is probably what I'm trying to get at. Cinnamon is, let's talk about cinnamon. So cinnamon's a really interesting scent. As an essential oil, cinnamon's used to help with your memory and your brain activity. So the smell of cinnamon can help people that have difficulty with cognitive functions. So if you're trying to study, you're trying to commit things to memory, then cinnamon's good. I've seen a research paper that showed people doing different puzzles in different rooms with smells. So they were comparing 2 oils, cinnamon, lavender, and the control group just had nothing at all. So in that particular study, they found that if you use cinnamon, like you smell cinnamon, it's better than lavender and better than nothing, which just means, that's the control. Whereas like this is to get a puzzle done, the speed of doing a puzzle, whereas lavender is worse than nothing. So definitely don't use lavender if you're trying to study. Lavender is really good for relaxing you. It's kind of the opposite of cinnamon. So with this Gnostic blend, it's kind of good for uplifting with the rosemary and the cinnamon, kind of cognitive function, getting things done. So this would be a great one to sort of bring on that New Year vibe that you're getting into the New Year and moving. And orange is a very nice, zesty, uplifting smell. So if you're really thinking for yourself, like what scents do you want to help you do things, get things done, citrus smells are really good for that. So they're associated in Chinese medicine with the wood element, which is kind of getting things moving, doing stuff. And so orange is a really great smell for that one. So this has got the cinnamon, there's the myrrh and frankincense, juniper berries and myrrh, which is this little one that I showed you before, that resin, and cinnamon. So it's actually the ground. There's two ways which is cinnamon. It's got ground cinnamon, so actually cinnamon, the cassia, the twigs, ground down, but then it's also got cinnamon leaf essential oil in it as well. So it's like double cinnamon. So yeah, this is really, really, really nice. And what I would suggest that you do is smell the different smells yourself, because you really won't know what's going to be best for you is the smells that you like. And look, not everyone likes every smell. We make 5 different scents in this range, and different people like different ones. I don't even like every single smell of these. I mean, I don't hate them, but I wouldn't burn for myself every smell here. So we have Dreamful, which is like the lavendery one, the opposite of the cinnamony kind of thing, and that's got lavender, myrrh, juniper berries, sage, and lavender essential oil as well, and the flowers. Peaceful, actually this is my favorite, this one here. It's got vetiver, which is, you have to smell it. That's the overpowering smell that you get from that smell, is the vetiver. And yeah, that is beautiful. I mean, there's other stuff in that too. Powerful. This is, well, I was talking about the citrusy smell, getting things moving for the springtime, doing new things. So where we are in Australia, in the seasons that we're in now, this would be a good one to be doing, or especially like getting things moving after the new year. This would be a good one to have. If Christmas is stressing you out, either Dreamful or Peaceful. Either one of these will be. The difference with an essential oil or a smell that's going to relax you and calm you versus something that's going to vibe you up is got to do with the notes of scents. So I've got another video on that kind of stuff, but essentially scents that are low base notes, things that are heavier, so what I was talking about, the vetiver, lavender, frankincense, myrrh, those things tend to ground you. Now we often put those in our scents as well as the citrus notes. It depends on the ratio of those things, and actually when you pop them open and smell them, what's the dominant fragrance, what's the thing that you smell. Often base notes, you don't smell them straight away, you will only smell them when you burn them. Like for instance, I could smell this myrrh, but there's no way that what I'm smelling there is the same as when I actually burn this. It's going to be a lot stronger and a different smell. And then the Mindful, which is quite similar to the Gnostic Blend, but this does not have the orange smell to it. So this it's got a little bit of orange, but it's not as strong. So this has got star anise, which is again different. So it's not cinnamon, as in the ground product. So it's got frankincense, myrrh, star anise, ginger, orange, clove, and cinnamon leaf essential oil. So this one also gives you that Christmassy kind of smell, and we call this one Mindful because particularly with the cinnamon, memory, committing things to memory, doing things, being in the moment. If you have trouble concentrating, those ones are good for that. So yeah, I encourage you to check out our range and pop down to the Gnostic Forest if you're in Woy Woy, and it's a beautiful shop. There's it's amazing. And it's such a great little train ride to go down there from Sydney to Woy Woy. But yeah, if you're not in there, if you're watching this video and you're not from there, then you can contact us on the website, and also on our YouTube channel. So just my YouTube channel is just called Marie Hopkinson, and there's like a lot of products that we make on that channel with different things. So if you just Google fragrant earth incense, that will come up with videos and to the web page and things like that. So yeah, thanks for watching, and enjoy your incense.